All right, so currently we're in one of the properties that we have under construction, and we want to share with you some of the obstacles that we've run into in the past month, just specifically with this house. So Tony, would you like to share a little bit about?
Sure, I can do that. So over the last month, we've been working on drywall, which typically it's a 3-week process. We're in our 7th week, and that's not anything. I mean, the quality's still there; it's becoming there. But some of the key things, regardless of the labor shortages we're all experiencing, and regardless of all the different obstacles we have in building just every day, you still have to put your best foot forward and try to follow best practices. So one of the things is I've got the air conditioning running in this home. You can see we're not quite primed yet. I do have the hardwood stacked here. So we're getting everything to acclimate. One of the ways we can help avoid certain problems by greater acclimation of product, allow the home to dry out quicker. So as we continue to build, if the house dries out quicker now, come your 1-year service, you're going to have less movement in your home because it went through best practices while it was being built. So it just results in better results long term.
So one of the big things, though, that did occur here that you're not really bringing up, and it goes back to when you look at different restaurants and they're closing their doors and, they can't service people properly. Same thing with our drywaller. One thing that happened here that was not something you could ever expect, but his crew didn't show up for work, so he had to go out and hire new people. And the reason he has taken so long, he ended up having to fire those people because they weren't meeting his quality, which would then affect quality in Tony's work.
Correct. So that was what Damien's saying is that was based on my drywaller's decision. He's the owner of the company, and he had guys that weren't performing correctly. He fired them because he knew my level of expectations, and he was upholding those because he has the same level of integrity. So with that, we lost some time to get some different people, and we're getting there. The clients are understanding. They know in the end, and things may take a little bit longer, but if the quality's there, it's well worth it.
And then with different items in terms of, when you're ordering doors or cabinets or anything like that, are we experiencing the same sort of delays that we have in the past, or is that somewhat getting better today?
Yeah, we're still experiencing. I mean, I would tell you that it's the factories that are the worst. Anything that's more custom, like cabinets, we're still experiencing some big, very large lead times. For example, Carter Lumber, my purchaser of my trim and supplier of my trim, doors, and cabinets on the finish end, they have now purchased a truck specifically to go to Craft-Made, which is local, because we try to buy local and use local. Many of you know Craft-Made. And now they're taking that truck there and now picking up the cabinets and bringing them to Carter, because that logistically, that was one of the big holdups. The cabinets were getting made in a decent time frame, and we were running about 20 weeks from order to job site. Now we've cut that down to about 6 weeks to 8 weeks from order to delivery to job site, because we're basically losing 6-7 weeks of cabinets just sitting complete and sitting there on the dock waiting to ship because we had no one to ship them. So they answered that problem and all that lead time, and they're losing business. Carter was losing business over it because they couldn't get the cabinets fast enough, and people heard that and they're like, well, we'll go elsewhere. So they saw an opportunity based on the problem they're delivering, and they answered to it, and now they're able to ship more. And of course, their volume and business of the craft-made cabinetry has increased because of that. And again, I'm a big proponent of buying local. I mean, one of the reasons, we're actually here in Newburgh Heights, and just to do a little sidebar, Newburgh Heights is was a very old community. It's nestled right next to Cleveland, right next to Cuyahoga Heights, and it's in a regrowth mode. It's a rebirth mode. So now you've got the city of Cleveland. It's in rebirth. Now you got the city of Newburgh Heights, or the village of Newburgh Heights, I should say. Very important, very safe community, very low tax community, and ultimately they're on a rebound. They've got the 15-year, 100% tax abatement available. There's a lot of opportunity here. Many people come in here because of the 100% tax abatement, and they either send their kids local or they pay private for their kids. And I know the Coldwell school system, I'm a product of it. My kids are going there. It's right down the street, and people send their kids there because of the opportunities they have in the savings with the tax savings to go and send their kids to a very A-plus school.
So one of the big things is, if you're thinking about building, the one thing you do got to keep in mind is there's going to be some delays, but are not normal delays of something we would have experienced probably 2 and 3 years ago. But as long as you go in with a mindset and don't have somebody over-promising timeframes, then you should realistically enjoy the process and understand if there's some hiccups in terms of if it's labor issues or even some product issues. But at the end of the day, the builders get a little beat up right now from their clients just due to the fact that they assume it might be the builder's problem, and builders are really working through a lot of different issues right now that they really can't control, and they just have to navigate as best as they can. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that 100%. You know, we've gone through the up cycle of lumber over the last 20 months, and now it's sliding back down. Of course, everyone buys at different bulks and different dates, so we're still working through that, specifically with Carter Lumber, my provider, and now we're seeing a cyclical effect with the boom in construction. We're seeing the effect of the trade shortage of getting the houses built, framed correctly. And again, it goes back to relationships. So if you have good relationships with the good trades, you're going to get the good results or great results because you have those relationships accordingly. So it's all hand in hand, but ultimately there's certain things you just can't control. And the labor shortage, as we know, when I started this conversation, I'll end it with this, it's real, and it's real in our industry, and all we're doing is working our way through. It just takes time. So it adds time to the build. But again, honesty and integrity, be upfront, let people know. Banks know the construction loan timeframes have increased, and so we're working through that, and we'll continue to move forward. And at the end of the day, still provide and produce the best built home at the best price with the best quality results.
Cool. Thanks, Tony.
Thank you.